Hello, everyone. Hope you're okay. Welcome to episode 7 of the Boro Runners Training Podcast, talking to all our athletes in the club about their achievements, their experience so far in the club, and much, much more. We've had a whole variety of members join. We haven't done one in a while. I've not been popping them out every 2 or 3 days, so a little breather. But we're back for episode 7 today, and we have the man who has actually ironed his t-shirt today, ready for the podcast. He's very prepared. It's John Green. How are you, John?
I'm great, mate. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Good. No worries. Now we actually are recording this on the Wednesday tonight. So, John, you've just been training tonight, haven't you?
I have, kid. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk us through about the session tonight? How was it for you? What's the session?
Disappointing tonight, Ben. I've got a niggling on that. I've got a niggling injury in it. It's just niggling. I mean, right rear thigh. It's just niggling. And I thought, well, rather than overdo it tonight, bear in mind we got the pacer session on Saturday with Dave Dukes. Didn't want to let him down on Saturday, so I want to do a good job. I thought I'll just ease off on the exercise tonight. Do it 32 reps for you guys, and then just stand out and just watch the world go by, really. So, yeah, niggling injury. Don't know where it's come from. It's niggly. Doesn't stop me from 5 or 10 Ks, but I thought enough tonight, give it a rest for 10 minutes.
You're a trooper, John. You always battle on, don't you?
Yeah, I think with any injury, Ben, you sort of got to work with it opposed to against it. That's how I always found my exercise throughout life. And, you work with it, you don't work against it. And, be a bit patient, especially at my age in life. You're able to be patient. Recovery takes a bit longer than a younger guy. But yeah, it's all good. I battle on the best we can, mate. Yeah, like we all do.
Brilliant, good stuff. And we're on the track tonight, weren't you? Is track one of your favourite locations, or do you like other places more?
No, definitely not. No, definitely not my favourite location.
Really?
The track answers back, Ben. It answers back. I prefer a field. I prefer a trail. I prefer Stewart's Park, which is very much on tarmac, don't get me wrong. But the track's not my favourite. I like it. It's a good look. All the sessions are great. All the venues are great.
I like that. I like that answer.
They're all great, Ben, but you've got your own personal likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
The track is not my favourite, but not that I don't enjoy it. It's not my most favourite. I wouldn't choose it my first choice, that's for sure.
And that's absolutely fine, John. That's why we have a long variety, so everyone can like the different functions.
Yeah.
But right. So, John, we'll get started a little bit about you then. So we'll start first of all with your running progression and then everything before Boro Runners, and then we'll talk about more Boro Runners specifically in your experience so far. Yeah. That's okay with you?
That's perfectly fine, kid. Yeah.
Top line quality. So, John, how old are you?
Have I got to tell you the answer? Really?
Mid-20s?
I'm 64 years of age, Ben.
64 years of age. Not a day over 50, I'd say, John.
I was 64, thank you, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, class. Well, happy birthday for then.
Retirement soon.
Amazing. Wow. Good stuff. So, John, obviously earlier life and teenage years and young adultry, what was sort of life for you in the sporting context? Was it running specific? Was it something else?
No, definitely. As a teenager, Ben, I didn't know what exercise was about, really, to be perfectly honest. Exercise for me was a kick about with the ball in the back on the local field and things like that. I rode a bike. I've had 2 wheels under my bum since I was about 4 years of age. But real, true exercise we sort of maybe talking about this evening, and that was a rarity, Ben. Exercise for me never really came about in my early 20s.
Right, okay.
When I got heavily into 5-a-side football. Most people know I'm a little guy. I'm short for 11-a-side, so 11-a-side was never a favourite. 5-a-side for 20 odd years, but then I progressed into cycling. I like me cycling. Done quite a bit over the years. Martial arts, I did that for over 12 years. Martial arts.
Martial arts, wow.
Yeah. I achieved in the karate world what we call a second dan, which is it's a respectable level. The second dan. It's not just a black belt; it's above a black belt. So that was over 12 years. So I did that for over 12 years. Running with you guys is only just over 12 months old. I've only been with the club this sort of time, maybe April, May last year. It's over 12 months now. Good thing. And running came about by chance when my son-in-law, as he is now, asked me if I wanted to do a 5K. My initial response was, why do I want to run down that road and come back again? What's all that about, Ben? No interest. But unbeknown to him, he'd thrown the gauntlet down. I went out that same week and ran 20-minute sessions twice over. You may remember the guy. Runners do remember the guy. The younger members of the club don't you know I'm talking about when I mention this guy's name. I thought it was Brendan Foster.
Yeah.
I'd run for 20 minutes twice over the same week. consecutive 20 minutes without stopping. And I thought with Brendan Foster. From then on, it's materialised to what we do today. Obviously, the sessions with the club, 5K, 10K. You know, I mean, whether I'm with you guys, not another matter. Trail running, I take the trail running, and I've been running since 2012.
Wow, amazing.
Something like 316 park runs now. So yeah, plus everything else that comes along with it, Ben. Yeah,
that's really, really good. Do you think a lot of people in the club will be surprised that you've only been running with the club for a year, or not?
I think there will be, because I said to one or two members tonight, we were walking across the field to the starting line, and one or two people didn't realise. But the way I speak to people and the rapport I build up with them, it seems to be a bit of a knack of mine. They're getting to know me now. And I said to me, it's only took 12 months for you to get to know me at the level you do know me. But I think the relationship I have with a lot of the girls and a lot of the boys at the club, it's a very friendly, open relationship. And they take me for being maybe the little pest that I can be, you know, and they accept it. But I think we've got to know each other quite well. They know I'm a little character. I think they see me for the character that I am. But I've only been with you for 12 months. So God knows what's going to happen in another 12 months, Ben. I have no idea.
The chaos and destruction you're going to cause.
Yeah.
So you're talking about there, John, your relationships with some people, because some people have different names. They don't just call you John. What do they call you?
I think Ben, to be honest, Little John's been my name for years.
Has it? Is that what you introduce yourself as, Little John?
Yeah. Whenever I meet, okay, yeah, of course I'm waiting for them like we all are, but if I meet people like you guys, or I meet people at work, new staff members, new recruits, new contracting crews, whatever, rather than trying to remember my title or my role in life, I just say Little John mentioned it. Just say Little John, you've been speaking to Little John. Everyone remembers Little John. And it's Little John, the safety guy, Little John, that guy down the office block. They all know me by Little John. And I really don't mind that nickname. I really don't mind. It's been that way for many years, Ben. If someone's called me Little John, I have absolutely no problem with that. I have no worries whatsoever. And I'm regularly known as Little John. No, the Little John, the little guy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Little John. Oh, we know Little John. I'm happy with that, Ben. More than happy.
No, that's really, really nice, because you've got quite a special relationship actually with a few people in the club, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. I think I'm building relationships all the time, which is great. For anyone to do that sort of aspect of life, to build up nice relationships with people. Yeah, there's a few people I get on really well with. There's people I've shot, I take a shine to. And yeah, it becomes a little bit more personal, shall we say? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. That's really, really good. Is that you have a bit of light banter between? I know you've had a bit of banter with Eve, haven't you? And a few others.
Eve is a character, one of those characters. She does nothing but try her best every night we see her. It's great to encourage the likes of Eve, but it's great to torment the likes of Mark Stobart as well.
Yeah.
Mark gets out of bed and goes, there's a marathon for the sake of it. But I can get on with him and torment him as much as I can torment little Eve. And other members of the club as well. And it's great to have that affinity to be able to talk to the senior runners, if you want to call them senior runners, the better runners, the quicker runners, and those who are not so quick. And I don't confess to be quick or one of the better runners by any means. But to encourage the likes of Eve, who struggles every time she comes, but tries so hard every time, that's great for me.
I was going to say, John, because go on, mate. Go on. What were you going to say?
No, sorry, I've had it done to me. Where Mike McCann, it was me really, and I think Mike will tell you this, who got him into the running the way he is today. Purely by chance, he's my next door neighbour, and I basically said to him one day, "Oh, I'm doing a park run on Saturday." I think Mike's reply was, "What's all that about?" We both registered at Tees Barrage at the same time, and yeah, we are where we are today. We're running, so that definitely, it's all good.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Mike's a modest guy. He's not gonna, But yeah, me and Mike started running together really. Tees Barrage, where we both registered back in 2012 with my son-in-law. When there was only 20, 30 runners at Tees Barrage, very, very low attendee list every week. Sadly, it closed down, and the rest is history. Now we're doing Stewart's Park and Albert Park predominantly now.
Yeah, which is a shame because I actually never got to do Tees Barrage. I think I watched it once. I went down when I was in North East Project, but I actually didn't get to run it, which is a shame because it's a nice loop, isn't it?
Tees Barrage was one loop affair. It was a nice run. It was, in some respect, challenging. You got two big You had the Millennium Bridge to encounter after 1 kilometre, and after 3 kilometres, you had the Castlegate Shopping Centre Bridge, which used to rock and roll every time a gang of us ran across, to be honest. Sadly, something went wrong. The plug was pulled on the event, and it hasn't ran now for what, 5, 6, 7 years or more.
Yeah, I think about 6 years. Yeah.
Well before COVID, but yeah, the way it is, unfortunately.
So just mention there, John, about obviously even Mike, said you obviously had the relationship with both them. What's it like in terms of being able to talk to what you said, they were like the better runners and the slower runners? Is it different between the both, or do you feel like everyone's sort of the same? What's your relationship with?
Do you know, Ben? I often talk about the club when I'm at work because they all think I'm crazy for doing what I do. But I advertise the club as a club with membership. No one's better than anyone else, Ben. You know, we can talk about Big Lucas, we can talk about young Liam, we can talk about Eve and the lesser runners who struggle every week, but they still put their 100% in. You talk about what I call the runners of the club, you know, the long distance runners, the Kath Schuts of the club, and all these kinds of people who run just for the sake of running and can do it every day in, day out. But no one's better than anyone else, Ben. Everyone is as good as each other. Everyone encourages each other. I think the comradeship of the club is absolutely immense. Absolutely immense. And not everyone helps each other. Everyone claps each other. Whether you're the last or first, it doesn't matter. The encouragement, the motivation, the drive, the energy of the club members, for me, it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And what those guys have just done throughout June, come on.
Yeah, ridiculous.
How many miles did they do in June? 250, 60, 70 miles or something?
It was very roughly about 460, something like that, 470.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Phenomenal amount by the guys, the lads and lasses. Phenomenal achievement. Really, really well done.
From someone looking from the outside in, John, someone like you, for example, who obviously everyone else didn't do the Reds, just seeing things like that inspire you?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. You know, on a personal level, mental health wise, I don't suffer mental issues. I don't have mental health problems or things like that. But I tend to come across them on a regular basis, Ben. I haven't dealt personally with mental health with close colleagues at work. I have a close colleague, well, we're no longer together in a business. The details aren't important, but this young lady encountered her father suffering from Alzheimer's and early onset dementia. At a level when he'd forget where he'd left his car keys, or he'd forgot to make a cup of tea when in the kitchen, to a level of dementia when he sadly didn't know his daughter was sat next to him. That is gut-wrenching for those people involved. So for me, the mental well-being of things like this club, the togetherness, the comradeship, the support of each other, it's massively important, Ben, massively important. And because of these personal relationships over the last 15, 20 years, I am much, much more aware now of the mental well-being of individuals, male or female, for whatever reason. If they're getting difficulties, the support around them, it's massively advantageous to for their benefit, for me, personally.
No, that's a really good point. Has the running helped with that, John, for you? Obviously, I know you said you haven't trouble with mental health yourself, but has it helped with your mood generally? Or
I think it helps me have a greater understanding of people's well-being.
Right, okay.
And people's personal struggles for whatever reason. Personally, I don't have any issues. My life is absolutely more than rosy, Ben. You know, I have a fantastic life. I have a family and work life and everything. I'm happy as Larry. But some people are not like me, Ben. They wake up every day with difficulties. They're struggling to cope, whether it be family, work, finance, just the mental structure and well-being of their own mind. I do find the club helps that tremendously. And you see people in the club who are quiet, more reserved, not as chatty as me, not as loud as me.
Hard to do.
yeah, loud is maybe I'll choose that word, loud, carefully. But when you give someone a cuddle, a pat on the back, and encouragement, you know, I'll look, it's a nice exercise when the guy at the end was singing every runner through. The names aren't important, but that particular guy was running the last 100, 200, 300 meters with individuals at the back of the queue. He was encouraging to the end. That's a real crutch to have, you know, by your side to help support you do things like that, Ben, for me. And I think while we do that as an individual, the club, outside the club, it can only do better for the people. It can only be an increase in betterment, that for me.
Yeah, and I have to shout out the committee as well because you mentioned there about some people who potentially have struggled, and
Yeah,
people deal with it in different ways. As I said, some people like to reach out straight away, some people like to hide in the background. But the committee have done amazing in just supporting people privately in the background for those who maybe like lost family relatives or just having a
yeah,
struggle time.
yeah.
It's sometimes looking outside the picture of the PBs and personal bests and races, and actually just thinking the effect of just exercising generally.
Oh, without a doubt.
Mm.
Personal achievements are one thing, but being able to help someone from a difficult situation in life or whatever it may be, Ben, being able to help that individual and give them the support, the help, the guidance,
Mm.
that, what virtual cuddles in life, shall we say, it can only be good. And
Yeah.
I've seen it happen both in work life, social life with the club members and things like that. I've seen it happen, and I watch from the outside, I look in and I think, yeah, that person's doing a good job for that person. And the person who is struggling for whatever reason in life, they get the betterment from that without a doubt for me.
Mm. No, that's really nice, that, John. I wanted to move on, John, towards what you give towards the clubs, because, for example, obviously, I know you do the sessions as well, which is brilliant. But obviously, a few weeks ago, you did the cycling, didn't you, for the
Yeah,
superhero run?
yeah.
So, what made you decide to do that? Because just for those who are out there on the podcast, no one actually asked John to do that. He actually volunteered himself, which I thought was amazing.
Well, look, you got guys doing. I got into the details of the event, late really, and I heard people were doing a half marathon for the charity organisation with Dave Jukes and everyone. They were doing a half marathon, they were doing a 10K and a 5K. I thought, well, hold on, I'm doing a park run, I'm doing 5K. I ain't doing any more on Saturday morning. On top of that, so well, how can I just give a little bit back to the club and the members who were putting that extra effort in for Dave and the club and everything else? I thought I'll get my bike out. So I text Mike, asked him the details. I said, I'm nibbling off. I went to Tesco at 9 o'clock Friday night, bought a gallon of water, little tubs, little bottles of water. And
Yeah.
I raided the gel shelf in Tesco. And okay, I spent 20 quid on water and gels. But again, that was my little return and give something back to the club. I wasn't running, but I thought I'd rather bike for more than half a marathon, that's for sure. I put a sack of water on my back, I helped the club out. That's all I did it for. There was no like, how can I say, expectation of rewards and thanks and the pat on the back. But the appreciation that was shown both during the day and the event itself, and afterwards on the WhatsApp group. Well, I thought, yeah, that's nice to be recognised, but I didn't do it to be recognised. Just did it help the group out. That's all it is for.
Mm.
That's
And
what.
I think that's so nice, John. I mean, obviously, we were talking when I was running myself and you were on the bike and stuff, and just to literally to have that method of giving something back to the club and wanting to do that is phenomenal. It's really nice, and I think the more the people do that, then the more that nice group environment is created in the club.
Yeah.
So no, that was really nice as well. And we got around in one piece. But where was your superhero costume on the bike?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I couldn't think of a superhero I could be. I went to work.
Really?
Yeah.
Ant-Man.
Well, someone said, "Why do you be Super Mouse? Is it Super Mouse? Is he a
Danger
superhero?
Mouse.
Danger Mouse. Is he a superhero? I don't know. Let's look next year and see what I'm getting next year.
Yeah. To be honest, John, you're a superhero in yourself, so you
See
dress
what
as
we can do.
yourself.
See what we can do next year. We'll wait and see.
No, that's class, John. That's really good. So, talking about your experience in the club, John, we'll ask a few questions about PBs and stuff later.
Yeah.
But in terms of your best memories, whether it be funny or whether it be something that's just really special and got quite emotional for you, what's like your best memory in the club been so far for you,
So
Cliff?
far, I think probably the best memory I've got so far, personally, would be when I achieved the half marathon. When did we do the half marathon last? When did we do the half marathon, Ben? I can't remember.
The Middlesbrough one?
Yeah, the Middlesbrough half marathon.
March.
So, look, I never set out in life as a runner to do a half marathon. I wouldn't have fancied the thought of a half marathon, but we did it. Of course, I was in the group when we did that. The start of it, the togetherness, the warm-up exercises, the accolades we all got from the club when we run around the town centre, the support from Katie and Lindsay and others, on the sidelines. That for me was a nice achievement and a nice day for the club, a nice day for me. So that's a fun memory. And you wouldn't have 12 months ago, you would never got me doing a half marathon. Absolutely.
Really?
But we did it this year. We all achieved a good result and a good day out. So I think that's probably the better times of the club so far, to be honest. I mean, sorry,
go on, John. Go on, sorry.
No, I said amongst other things, like the day-to-day club activities, the day-to-day togetherness as a club member on a Monday or a Wednesday evening, or the outside events like 5Ks or 10K events, things like that. I think that's probably one of the better ones, and yeah, hopefully we get many more to come as well.
Brilliant, good stuff. We mentioned there, obviously, you would have said 12 months ago that you wouldn't have done a half marathon. Yeah. Is that just because of the clubs? You think that the reason why you've done it?
You guys torment people to do things they don't want to do.
Oh man, wow! Let's not start getting any claims here, John. Hang
on. No, look, I think as a club member, you want to be an active part of the activities, and you want to join in. And I think the club makes you do things maybe you don't want to do, or maybe you want to challenge yourself too much. Why do I want to run 12 miles down the street in Middlesbrough, Ben Palmer? I don't.
Pull me in there as well.
Oh yeah, pull you in. You're a troublemaker. But ultimately, we do it. I think. Look, the club allows you to do things you probably thought you could never do. And I was dragged around the streets of Middlesbrough. Okay, I'm self-driven and motivated anyway. That doesn't matter. But the 5Ks, the 10Ks, when we're doing it together as a group, we drag each other through, Ben. We drag it through that mileage, that kilometre, whatever minimum. Our running new money, our running kilometres. But ultimately, we drag each other through that distance every time.
I mean, I've been reading a lot of books recently, and I'm reading a book about currently somebody who's training in Kenya. And he goes over there for like a year, and he basically looks at all the training groups over there in Kenya and Ethiopia. Yeah. And all of them are training in groups of 10, 20. There's never ever a single run running in the miles. Yeah. And I'm obviously not comparing us to Kenyan runners, you know what I mean? But in the same sense of that group community, that environment, when you're with that environment that trains the same and works hard, so it pushes you along, like without a doubt. And it makes you do things that you potentially wouldn't want to do. Which is brilliant, gets you out of comfort zone. I think the more things you achieve outside of that, the prouder it is for yourself.
Yeah, I think when I'm running with a club on like tonight or any other Monday, Wednesday training night, doesn't really matter. I went when we were not trained on Monday gone. Sorry, we went with a small group with Elaine, and we did a small group. I ran with Elaine, and we'd kept each other good company for that. The two laps of Stewart's Park. We ran together, we helped each other, and we supported each other. If Elaine or I want to walk, well, we would both walk, not just one walk. We would both walk, and we support each other, and that's what we do. And I certainly, since I've been with the club, there's loads of names we can mention. I don't want to put people in the spotlight and name names for the sake of it, but there's two particular big guys at the club I get on tremendously well with. The tower above me, but as a threesome, we have a good little run around the circuit. I can torment them, and I do every week. I torment the pair of them together. But ultimately, when you're on a road race or a park event or a training event, we run with each other and we drag each other through that situation or time period. But a lot of club runners do that. You'll see, certain girls running together every week. You'll see certain lads running together every week. You'll see certain individuals compete against each other every week. And I think I'm just part of that gang, to be honest. I'll run with people, I torment people, I'll compete against people.
And what are you like, John, running with the people? Because I've seen you before, obviously, running in sessions and racing and stuff, and you are very, very supportive in the sense of, clapping people, giving people motivation, encouragement. You are very good.
No, I appreciate the comment, Ben. Sometimes when I'm doing a training event, a training evening, sometimes you'll see me, you'll hardly know I'm there because I'm very, very quiet, and sometimes I'm very studious in the running method I have. I have a particular running technique and ideology between how I should run each, whether it's a race or a training session. I'll certainly run with people to help them, support them, motivate them. And I'll certainly run against them to compete against them as well. But I've also had people say to me, thanks for that, John. You dragged me through tonight. You made me work harder tonight. So I've had both. But I've competed against individuals and I wouldn't let them beat me. And I've also ran with people deliberately slower to support them through that sticky situation or that difficult session they may be having at the time. I'll do both.
Which is really, really nice, Sean. Like I've seen it a few times. Like I know when Mike at the end of the Spring Course 5K, he literally, once he finished his race, ran all the way to the back of the race I'm not sure who it was, but he ran them all the way through, and then there was a big line of Boro Runners. I just think that's absolutely amazing. Again, like nobody asked him to do that. Like it really is fun. It's really nice, and it makes such a massive difference. Like I always think that quite a lot of runners, I'm not saying with an hour club, but outside the running community, take for granted how much tougher it is for the people at the back. Like thinking about for a 5K,
Yeah,
my time's like roughly 16 minutes, but if you've got somebody running like 40 minutes, that is a lot of volume to run for a 5K, and everyone just expects them to keep up with them, then to move on to a 10K, that's going to take them like an hour 10, an hour
yeah.
20. So it is a lot tougher for them. They have to put in a lot more. But in fairness, they get a lot back as well. So it's really difficult. So I have a lot of respect for people at the back, and it does give them confidence for people like you who then drop back and push them and encourage on.
You say it every week, Ben. We say every week at Stewart's Park, you've got the guys who can run 16, 17, 18 minutes. They put their own 100% in 100% in to get that achievement, and 16, 17, 18 minutes, fantastic. But you've also got the guys at the 35 to 40 to 45 minutes who are putting their 100% effort in as well. You've got to give them a massive amount of credit for that and pat on the back.
Oh, well done.
And if you can drop off, if you can give them look, Ben, what's it like to give someone 5 or 10 minutes of your lifetime? It's nothing. If you can give someone back 5 or 10 minutes and support and help, motivation, drive, energy, and congratulations at the end, come on, we should be doing that more often, to be honest. And never mind your own personal benefit, your own PB. I have my own PBs in mind today. We can talk about them later on if you said we're going to talk about them anyway. But if I can't give someone 5 minutes of my time on a Saturday morning, Ben, really, I should be attending the park run, to be honest. I should just go off and on. So I should always be willing to give someone a little bit help, a little bit of support. They need it. And it keeps them going. They come back next week as well.
Yeah, that's very nice. That's really nice. So we'll move on to personal best then, John. So what are your personal bests so far in the disciplines that you have?
Well, can't really tell you, really, can I? Can I tell you? Okay, all right, I'll tell you things that you ask me a direct question. The PB in 2012, 13, 14 time at Albert Park, and I know it's Albert Park, I know it's like that, was 25:45.
Nice.
But where that came from, I don't know.
Oh, no training. All right, just did it.
I wasn't with you guys. I was doing 5K runs on the streets on my own. That's all I was doing.
Oh.
But back in 2012, I was exercising 6 times a week. I was doing 2 runs. I was doing 2 cycles to work, and I was doing my karate training twice a week as well. So I was very active at that time. So 25:45 at Albert Park, back when I started running 2012 time. 26 plus at Stewart's Park. Pleased with that. Don't think I've ever seen that again though at Stewart's Park. Today, that's 5K, and now I'm running a consistent 28.5, 29 5Ks. I've been running.
Very good.
So I'm happy with that. I'm consistent with my times, really. When you look at the stats, I'm very consistent with my timings. 10K, I think my best is 56. That was the middle of the 10K a number of years ago. That'll be about, I don't remember the year, 2020, 19, I can't remember. Anyway, so 56 is my best for 10K. At the moment, my 10K is about 101, 102. I'm looking for sub 60 on that one. If I get back to sub 60 on the 10K, I'll be happy as Larry.
Yeah, perfect. Excellent. Really good. And obviously you ran your half marathon, then you're in March.
Yeah.
What was your time for that one?
2:15, I think the chip time was 2:15. More than happy with that. First half marathon. Ran a lot of the race with Amy and Amam and Poppy. Yeah, those 3 ladies.
Yeah.
So I raced the race with them. I actually stopped on the last water station for a deliberate stop and a bottle of water. And then moved on, and they came in 5 minutes or more in front of me. That's not the end of it. That's fine. For 2 hours 15 for my first half marathon, I was over the moon. If I could get it down to maybe 2:05, 2:06, and knock 5 or 6 minutes off next time, I'd be more than happy, without a doubt.
Mate, perfect. That's really, really good. So in terms of targets then for the future, Don, whether it be short term, medium term, even into next year, what do you fancy? It doesn't even have to be a time. It could be like a race abroad or anything. Or what would you like to achieve?
It won't happen. So I'm making a false promise, really.
It's not a good start, John, when you say
well, I'd like to do a 10K or something abroad.
Yeah.
Even if I was on holiday. We went to Krakow some months ago, myself and my daughter and my wife.
Nice.
When we got there, was a marathon going on, wasn't it? We were in a coach going to visit the sites and things like this. And there was a marathon going on. I thought, I can't even stop and watch. I'm on this coach trip thing. So that was disappointing. I would like to do a 10K or a half somewhere abroad, but whether it'll happen or not is another matter.
Any ideas? Any choice of location or anywhere?
Somewhere warm. Somewhere warm. Mallorca, Ibiza. They're the sort of places I go to for holiday with the family and things, somewhere nice in Mallorca.
To be fair, John, if you did Ibiza, you can go partying afterwards. That's the thing, yeah.
I'm not a party animal, Ben. I don't.
Are you really not?
No.
Oh, I thought you'd be energetic in the clubs and flares 3 o'clock.
No, I'm not into all that.
Not even on the fall.
Ben, look, been there many moons ago. I'm a granddad now, Ben. I'm a granddad.
Oh no, come on, you can shake those hips, surely.
You'll have a few moves to share with you.
Oh.
Maybe another time.
Another time. You're teasing me until the awards night. Are you going to the awards night?
I'm sorry?
You going to the awards night?
I don't know. I'm waiting.
Not sure. I put you on the spot with your dancer, haven't I?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, but I'll keep my dance moves to myself. Another time.
That's not my good stuff.
Another time.
So, in people in the club, then, John, is there anybody in there who you get on with the most, who you have the greatest friendship with?
I don't know, really. I'll talk to anyone more.
Yeah, I love you.
The two big guys earlier on, you talked about Kirk and Simon.
Kirk and Simon,
yeah. If I get between, we were at Pinch and Thorpe some weeks ago, and I give them two lads some stick. Admittedly, I give them a hard time that night. And we had, I think Glennis was running with me, so I got Glennis to do a bit trickery as well. So I'll give Simon and Kirk a bit of hard time at Pinch and Thorpe. All to my pleasure and their displeasure. But I've got to be careful because I get in the middle of them two, they can just close in and squash me, Ben. Them lads are 6'13", 20 stone apiece. There's a lot of timber there waiting to squash me if I get too
Is it the rose between two thorns? Yeah.
I'm careful what I do with them two lads. I get on really well with Simon and Kirk, but I think I get on with everyone to the best I can. There's no favourites, or again, if I see anyone down in town in Starbucks, I'll sit down and have a coffee with them. That's the way I am, Ben. I've got no real favourites, but there's certain people I do talk to and torment a bit more. I was tormenting Dennis tonight as well.
Yeah, which is completely natural. I've actually also just been on the stag do with Simon and Kirk, and we had a very good time, and they were great cracks. So yeah, I approve of those two choices.
Good.
What's been your funniest Boro running memory so far, John? Is there anything that's particular in the group chats that's made you laugh, or anything outside that you like to have a laugh about?
The group chat, I can't. Ben, I can't keep up with it.
Not a good idea, honestly. I really can't.
I'll sit down and I'll open the WhatsApp because I'm not a big WhatsApp, Facebook sort of advocate. I have them, but I don't use them for the sake of it. I don't advertise my life. But when I open WhatsApp, I'm thinking there's 350 messages here. I just look straight to the end. I just try and capture the end or the salient points of the discussion. Happy times, funny times with the club. Oh, God, blimey, that's a good question, Ben. Oh.
Hard, isn't it? It's really hard. I know they were laughing about the Martin Willie the other week again.
I know what the Martin. Well, yeah, you lot are just a strange breed.
No, I didn't comment on it. To be fair, it wasn't me.
Ben, I just let you get on with it, you lot. I'd sit back and as an old man and giggle at all the youngsters doing what they do. If I can say, youngsters, forgive me, sounding really old. But if the younger members of the club want to do things like that, carry on, crack on, and I'll have a laugh with you on the outside. I take a silent part in it all, Ben, to be honest.
That's class. Have you got a funniest moment then, John, or is it nothing really came up? That's fine. It doesn't.
I haven't got a funniest moment.
That's fine
for me, but I think every session I've done with you guys since joining the club, this time last year or just before this time last year, every session's enjoyable for me, Ben. Whether it be funny, it's just a good club to be in, and it's just an enjoyable session every time we attend. That's the way I see the club, to be honest.
That's amazing. That's really nice, excellent. And if you could give one person, John, one piece of advice to another person in the club, something that potentially you've learned either in the club or before it, what advice would you give to a runner who's potentially struggling and now needs a bit of advice?
If I, rather than one sentence or one sentence answer, Ben, I think, you know, I often said when I first started running, I wasn't a runner. I didn't understand running one little bit, Ben. I said to a guy who was an ultra runner, and I asked him the daft question, how do you actually run? He said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go a bit further. He said, just slow down. And the number of times I've echoed that sentence to others who are struggling on a park run in particular, I'm tired, I can't run, I'm too. I said, just slow down, enjoy it and get to the end. Stop trying to beat everyone else, stop trying to race. You don't have to run quickly. Slow down, enjoy what you're doing, and you'll get to the end. And if you want, I'll run with you. And that's what I say to people on a fairly regular basis. When you go into a park run and someone sees you with a 250 t-shirt on, and the daft question is, they always say, have you done 250? I say, yeah. But I remember I started when I was only doing my first one. Slow down, enjoy it. Don't get upset about your times. And that's what I do say to people on a fairly regular basis, to be honest. Slow down and enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, so you'd say that consistency and not panicking about, runs that are potentially not feeling great, because we all get those weeks, don't we?
Ben, you can get up one morning and you run like Nijinsky. You know the old racehorse, if you remember Nijinsky? I do. Red Rum, the racehorse. You run like
Red Rum, I remember that.
There you go. So, but you get up the next morning and you feel like a donkey. You run like a donkey. You're tired. Excuse me. You're tired. You're weary. You're struggling, and you have a nightmare of a time, a nightmare of a run. But the other morning you get up thinking, I don't want to go for a run, and you build out a cracking time. I don't know, Ben. I don't know how it works. I don't know.
Honestly, you don't know if I had the answer, I would tell you. But I don't know either.
Don't know. Yeah, sorry, man.
It's one of those. Do you have anyone in the club, John, that you particularly look up to, and you just look at and you think, wow, they're truly amazing. I can't believe what they've achieved.
Yeah, I want to take your phone, get my battery charger. My phone's going down.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I do look up to people. 1 second.
We're getting the house view now. We're getting a full tour.
Yeah, you want to see the house? We get a lot of work in the house, actually. It's a little bit upside down at the moment. That's another story. Yeah, I do look up to people. Excuse me, Ben.
No worries, mate. No problem.
There we go. That looks better to me. I can put the cable in the battery charger.
There we go. Perfect.
There we go. There. I can't see you now. That's better. That might be charged up a bit better.
We're back.
Get rid of that cable there. No, yeah, I do look up to people around the club, and I envy people sometimes. I look at Kath, this Shutty tonight. She ran till the batteries dropped, failed. The batteries discharged at about 7:30 tonight. She just stopped running. I said to Matty Emery, looks like your batteries have ran out. I look at Big Luke, this big, strong, powerful guy. He's a big, strong lad, but he puts such good effort in every week. And, that's two of the lads we mentioned. But then, you look at Kathy, you look at Big Lucas, you look at Mark Stobart, Mark Holton. You look at these guys, and I think I quite envy them lads and lasses. But they are what they are. They can do what they do. But I do envy them. I think, I wish I could do some of what they might do. I don't think I look at the particular running style or the way they run around the track or an event that we go training. I just think I look at Kath, and she does all them trail runs and hard nose events and things like that. And I do envy that, because I do like the trail runs and that environment for running. But them guys that's who they are. So there is lads and lasses I do look up to the club with a bit of envy and a bit of green-eyed envy, without a doubt. Yeah, definitely.
No, that's really good. That's really nice. And I like what you mentioned about the running forms and techniques there, because I think some people look at faster runners and think, oh, I need to run like that with potentially like a smaller cadence. But everyone's got a different running form, and you have to go your advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just do what I do. Excuse me. I have my own style of running, which is steady away at the beginning. I tend to keep a bit of petrol in my tank for the end of the race, so I can just have a good sprint or the last few hundred meters and take a few people off. I've been trying to catch up with the race and things like that. But ultimately, yeah, there are people I wish I could do that, but I can't. I just can't do that. It's not me. I'm not built to be a runner. I never consider myself to be a runner. I'm probably too small and heavy to be a runner. But yeah, good luck to those guys, and they do a good job. I do look up at them sometimes, to be honest. Yeah.
I wouldn't say you were too small or heavy to be a runner, John.
Do you not think? Well,
No.
well, thanks for that comment.
I don't think any sort of height or weight can define what a runner is. A runner is just somebody who's put one
Really,
foot above the other, and yeah,
that's a
no,
fair
no, yeah.
point. It's like your fair point, like I said about if you can just take your time and enjoy your run. It's like you say, if you put one, people at work say to me, "Oh, I can't run, I can't run," and I have said that in the past. Can you walk? Yeah, well, you can run. You just
Mm.
run slow. You just run slower than someone else. It's as
It's
easy
just
as
it's just a confidence thing, and I
yeah.
think especially if people just start the way they compare themselves to other people or how tough it gets so soon is
Mm.
quite difficult. But for those who push through that first barrier of a week or two and then get to the more enjoyable stuff when you get a little bit more fitter, then from there it's just a landslide of adrenaline and it's really, really good. A lot of people give up too early
Yeah,
because of
Ben,
lack of confidence.
I go to work at 5:45 6 every morning of the week. And I'm
Mental.
thinking, running up and down the main roads, Acklam Road, running, I'm thinking, you can only give these people credit. And I
Mm.
see them running really, really slowly. I see some of them skating down the road like they're on a skateboard, but they're out there at 5:45 6 in the morning doing their little bit. You've got to give people credit for that, Ben. You've got to give them the credit, without a doubt.
Really impressive. And finally, John, just a question about you personally. You said there that you're retiring, aren't you?
Not immediately. I was 64 2 weeks ago.
Mm.
My plan of attack, providing everything stays as it is, me happy, fit and healthy, work environment's all good, and the status remains in the status quo and everything. I'm looking at another 2 years full employment, and then I want a reduced working week. I'll not retire. I'll not pull the plug from the working environment. And
Mm.
I've always said to people at work, even if I was paid off and made redundant, I'd go pouring tea and coffee out for the old people at James Cook Hospital. I'd have to do something. So
Mm.
I'm going to just pull the plug and walk away from work. Work for me is a massive part of my life. My home, my environment, my kids, my grandkids, it's all down to me working since I was 16 years of age to where I am today and achieving what I've achieved today in my profession. And I wouldn't have the house I'm sat in here now if it wasn't for me doing that and work giving me the opportunity as well. I've had a massive amount of support from the work environment, financial, moral support, educational support. I've had a lot from the company I'm with, and I'm very appreciative of that. I'm very humbled by that. The fact that some kid like me from Pallister Park, a young kid, has got so much out of life, and
Mm.
I ain't going to throw it away, Ben. I'm not going to throw it away.
That's
I'll
really
always,
nice.
I'll probably work until, I'm not saying I'm unable to, but certainly I'll work until I just want to pull the plug and say I've had enough now. That's me finish.
Do you want a coaching job or runners?
Do you want a coaching job? I used to coach at my karate club and things like that, and but as a lead guy, but nah. Leave that to you and some other person at the club. You can do that.
So when you do eventually retire, John, or you have your reduced working week, have you got any plans for like vacations, any trips,
No,
any locations now?
no, I'm a easily pleased, happy-go-lucky guy. I just want to come to the lifestyle when I retire. I don't want to travel the world. I've travelled to Mallorca and places like as a family holiday person. I've worked away in China for a couple of years when with the business I'm with. I used to work in China. That was a fantastic thing, seeing China as an industrial setting, but also visiting the Great Wall of China, the Summer Gardens, the Summer Palace, Shanghai, Beijing, and I did all that on the back of my employment. But I have no desire or wish to travel the world. It doesn't really bother me.
Yeah,
I'm happy where I am. As long as me and the wife can go out for a coffee and a cake to Strikes Nursery or spend a night shopping away down in Leeds or Manchester, go to Mallorca once or twice a year, that will do me perfectly okay. I'm easily pleased. I run an easier lifestyle. Uncomplicated lifestyle, Ben. That's what John Green's about.
perfect. And I think that's a lovely way to end the podcast, John. That's really, really
Good,
nice. So,
good.
firstly, John, just thank you very much for your time. I really enjoyed
Oh,
that. And
good.
again, I learned more about you and the club as well, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much, John. Obviously, we've recorded this on the Wednesday night, so he's recorded this straight after training. So I appreciate the time, John, because it's quarter past 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully for those at home, I hope you enjoyed another episode. That was episode 7 there with John Green, which was really, really good. So yeah, we've got 3 more, and then we've got our 10th special. I have no idea what we're going to do for that. So I'm having a special 10th one, John. I've decided.
Good, excellent. As I say, I wish you and the club very well, Ben. But I'm with you on that's another matter. I just wish the club, well, and make go up from strength to strength. And those who are involved with the club keep enjoying it. It's great. It's a good place to be.
That's really nice, John. Thank you so much, mate. Right, so for me and John, take care, guys. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you in the next podcast. All the best.
Take care. Thanks very much, Ben. Take care. Bye bye.